out.
But I think the concept is just constantly handling dead people. There's something about that never was really covered before. That's got to affect the way people see life. I remember the first time I saw my grandfather was in an open casket. And the first time I saw his body, I remember immediately, it was very interesting because one of the first things I felt was like, oh, he's not there. You know, like it's not just that someone's not alive anymore. Like he wasn't there. That was when I started wondering, I wonder if a soul is a real thing. I wonder what that is, that concept of what is the force inside of someone that causes them to be alive. You sense it when you're around them. Because the strange thing about dead bodies is not just that they're a human body that's dead. It's also there's no one there. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a feeling that's very intangible. There's a feeling when you're around a person. Like there's a person there. When the person's not there, it's like, oh, he's not there anymore.
There's no energy. There's nothing coming from the body. There's nothing.
It's not as simple as the heart's not beating and the lungs aren't catching oxygen. It's something more. It's like you feel it. You know, I don't know if it's real. And it's also, when you're looking at a body that's in an open casket, it's been drenched in formaldehyde and covered in makeup. It's very odd. Very odd.
Now, they say that when you die, you lose how much pounds?
I don't think that's real.
That's because
21 grams. I think
21 grams. That's a movie that dude made.
Well, let's see if that is that. What was that based on? That was based on some sort of a study, but from what I understand, it's not real. I don't think your soul would weigh anything. Why would it have to weigh anything?
It's just a spirit.
Yeah, like
it's just an energy.
Well, does electricity weigh anything? You know.
You want me to tell you something, man? I grew up going to a lot of wakes early on.
Yeah.
Like when you watch The Sopranos, they go to a wake every other week. Mm-hmm. In Jersey, you're in a wake every other week. I've been there 3 years, and I already could have gone to like 18 wakes. I've been to maybe 2 or 3 of them. But in 3 years, wakes are big. But you look at the whole process of a wake. I would never let my daughter go to a wake now until she's 18, just because the effects it did to me. I don't remember my father's wake, but I remember my friends' wakes from grammar school, and I remember my mother's wakes. And those 3 wakes fucked me up to the point where somebody else died when I was like a junior or a senior in high school, and I didn't go to that wake. Like I was like, I've had enough of wakes. I don't think it's healthy. I don't know. For me, it wasn't. I got exposed to it at a young age, and it wasn't healthy, man. It fucked with me for a long time. I watched The Exorcist. It didn't fuck with me as much as those caskets fucked with me. So when my buddy had the funeral parlor years later, I volunteered for the job because I didn't want to have that creepiness between us, and that eliminated. I saw how he responded to it. It was like an everyday thing. It was like you lifting kettlebells, him picking up a dead body, putting him down. You know, I saw how you
get numb.
You're numb to that.
Yeah,
that's the But it's so weird how it's like the #1 career to get into, and nobody will get into. Think about it. It pays off the bat. Like off the bat, if you go to school for embalming school, whatever they call it, it's like a funeral director. The whole thing, they cover everything. It's like a year if you don't go to college. A year to make $100,000-something. Think about it. That's not bad.
Yeah, if you're willing to work with dead people.
If you're willing to work with dead people. My friend's funeral parlor had a fireman that did the embalming. So he would just come in and do the embalming. You know, $400 a body, whatever. I don't know what's done during the embalming. It's very sacred. I know they break the spine, they drain the blood, they fill you with formaldehyde and shit. But that whole process, and then you go back and look at like the Aztecs and how they did. The Chinese, they put you on a boat and they float you away. They celebrate this.
I think the Vikings did it right.
The Vikings
light
did it
that
right.
motherfucker on fire.
Light them on fire. Everybody had their own thing, which is very interesting. The Aztecs, this, that, everybody had their own way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
So we were on the right path. I just don't think of going in there and sitting with a dead body for 3 hours and looking at him is healthy. And then I heard stories from Cuba where they had no embalming fluids, and you would have to bury, your body would die, and you would have to wake at your home.
Oh.
Like in the 40s, 20s, they had wakes at people's homes.
Yeah.
Without the embalming fluid. And at one point, the fucking hand would pop up. And you'd have to break the arm to put the casket down, because once that rigor mortis sets in that arm, that's fucking straight strength. You're not just going to bend that arm in and do an arm bar or a Kimura. It's not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
So they have to break the arm to put the arm down. So when I was a kid, my mother would always go, if you hit your mother, your arm pops up in your fucking casket. So I decided I'm not going to hit my mom. Fuck that. I'm going to walk into fucking hell with your arm up like Hitler. You know, you hit your mother. Fuck you.
You're the first person to tell me about the scams of the whole mortuary industry, about how much money they get you for. Like, no matter, even if you want to get an embalming, you still, or even if you want to get someone cremated, you still have to get them embalmed. You still have to fill them up with formaldehyde. And you were explaining the caskets, how they like guilt you into getting a nicer casket.
Oh yeah. What do you want? You want to be buried in 4 pieces of wood, or you want the Cadillac of caskets?
How weird is that?
I got one with a sunroof. It's, you know, they got everything now.
But how weird is it that people give a fuck what the box looks like that they bury you in? So strange. The things that people do to show that they cared when someone was alive. Buy a fancy box to put them in. Like, if that's me, save your money.
Me too.
Yeah.
I remember I had that joke, just bury me in the yard. My friend,
that's how you're
his
supposed
uncle
to
died,
die.
And they wanted 15 grand. And I'm like, you got a yard that's huge?
Yeah.
That was an old joke. I'm like, you know, you got a hard 15,000.
Not only that, then the person gets cycled back into life. You become a part of the earth again. Because, like, what we're doing is very unnatural. We stop the body from decaying, so you stop bacteria from eating it. You stop the soil from being enriched by it. It's all a natural part of the cycle of life of all living things. And we've removed ourselves from it. We've removed ourselves from it, you know, and you could say, well, it was a good thing because you ever watch that HBO show with Dr. Michael Baden, Autopsy? Sometimes they exhume people and they find out that the wife really did it. And you ever watch that show?
Fuck yeah.
That fucking show was amazing.
We've had numerous conversations. Yeah. In fact, they took Biden, that what was his name, Michael Bowden?
Michael Baden.
Biden. He was retired, and they took him back to get the autopsy for on Epstein. That dude.
And they found out that he had a fracture in his neck that was indicative of being strangled with a ligature. Like some sort of a fucking cord. Yeah, and that this wasn't like when people hang themselves. When they hang themselves, the weight of it goes up because your body is hanging down.